Welcome to yet another episode of I Start First podcast for lady bosses and boss babes who start. I am so excited because I don't know about you, but I only love technology when it works. So today I have someone very special who is technology extraordinaire, YouTuber professional. She's a startup expert and she's all about tech and online presence. So I cannot wait for you to hear Amena share her story and her pro tips and special secret sauce with you. Hi, loves. Welcome to I Start First podcast, the show for boss babes who start ideas, businesses, dreams, and lifestyle. I'm your host, Alenka Cullinan, founder of I Start First, speaker, author, and business coach, aka Queen of Pushing Boss Babes off the ledge. On this show, I chat with epic humans who are guaranteed to uplevel your business and mindset. Are you ready to sparkle up? Let's go. Hi, ladies. Welcome to another episode of I Start First podcast. I'm so excited because guess what? I don't know about you, but I am definitely technologically challenged. My technology skills end on Twitter. So I'm very excited for our guest today, one of my favorites. Everything technology pro, startup expert, incredible video pro. I mean, you should see her YouTube videos. I am so excited to introduce you to Amena. Hi, Amena.
Hi, Olenka. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you today. So tell them a little bit more. I didn't want to steal your thunder. So tell them a little bit more about your story, how you got into this, what made you learn, and kind of the journey.
Okay, so my name is Amena, and my journey essentially started when I had an idea and I wanted to run with it. So it was a concept, game development, and I kind of moved forward with it by taking classes, seeking out mentorship at Seed Spot, and also you were my business coach as well in the process. And just following my passion, I was able to successfully raise $4,500 in a month for a campaign with your help and coaching. And then after I raised the funds, I was able to find manufacturers in China, fulfill the orders, 1,400 orders to my customers. Yeah, so it was really exciting. So that's my story, and my background is really following what it is that I was really passionate about. And then I learned that I was more obsessed over the process than anything. And based on that, I just got into where I work at GoDaddy, and then I'm a hosting expert there. And that's where all my tech and everything kind of came together from there. And now I'm just obsessed with startups and tech and everything related to tech.
I love it. I love it. So you said something that not a lot of people can relate to, or not a lot of people are even in understanding of. You said you love the process. You're sort of obsessed with the process. A lot of people don't love the process. A lot of people want the results. They want the final. So why? Like, what makes you so fascinated with the process?
I think it comes with, it's like bittersweet because it's challenging enough where there's enough of a struggle that pushes you.
Yeah,
But at the same time, once you kind of arrive, you feel very accomplished and on top of the hill.
I
So
love it.
that's really the process. Because I remember at SeedSpot when I was doing my 3-minute pitch for investors in the audience. And I just remember looking at my 3-minute presentation, nailed it under 3 minutes by like 2 seconds or something. And I just remember looking at it and going, I love the process. Learning marketing, branding, how to take idea to market, how to position it to where it solves a problem, testing, reiterating, feedback, and really offering a solution to the end consumer. So that was really why I'm obsessed with it. And it still continues till today, even with web design and being a startup expert and working at GoDaddy as a hosting expert as well.
I love it. So No, it's so true. I mean, those little pieces that make it all come together. And then you go at the end, you go, wow, like I just did this. I built this. This is the idea that came to life. So, yeah, it's definitely awesome. And I mean, I love what you said, the fact that, you just have to kind of go step by step by step, and then you see the final results. And that's what gets you excited. That is awesome. And so, you know, I mean, I love that you love everything tech. I do only when it works. But, technology is so important. Obviously, we're attached to it. You and I are on technology right now, and we live in our screens. Why is online presence so important? And I don't think, and I think a lot of people are sort of confused about online presence because a lot of times they don't understand that it serves a purpose and it needs to translate into your branding and who you are. A lot of times we just throw stuff up there and like, why is this not working out for me? So talk more about it. Why is it so important?
So the reason why online presence is so important, there's different ways you can look at it. So if you're a startup and still testing out a concept and seeing whether or not it serves a purpose, you build a website just to see what kind of traction it builds.
Mhm.
So it's a really excellent way to gather data and to know whether or not what it is that you're doing is actually offering a solution or there is a need in the market.
Mm.
So that's one way to look at it as an online presence is essentially just a testing ground to collect data to see whether or not you want to continue with this or maybe there's something to iterate from it. The second benefit or the why your online presence is so important is because it's global
Mhm.
and you're essentially reaching everyone while you're in your bedroom, which I think is so powerful and it's underestimated. And sometimes we allow our fear or our doubt, or because it doesn't look like someone who's been in it for a long time, set us back and not release it out into the world where, you're doing everybody a disservice by hiding. This is something I've learned. So
Mm.
your online presence, not only can it serve that purposes where you collect data and kind of see whether or not it serves a purpose, but also let's say you're an established business. Online presence is constantly shifting. So currently now we're moving away from, hey, these are the values, this is what I offer, to this is how I can serve you, this is how it can help you, and this is how easy it is to work with me. So even as an established business, your online presence proves your existence and where people to go to find a solution. It's kind of a safe haven for people. It's a way to build a community and for them to understand how you can help them. So those are the two main reasons I can come up with as far as why it is important. But even if you're not an established business and you're testing out something, let's say you just do it just as a blogger, you know, this is something you just want to talk about and share your insights. So it's a space for people to connect with you and find different perspectives, different opinions, different thought process, different ways, because the more exposure we have to that, the better we're able to come to a conclusion in our own personal lives, within ourselves, and also to help others around us.
I mean, I hope you're all taking notes. I was like, like it's story time right now. Amazing. And I mean, I'm just going to go back to this freaking bomb she just said, which is you're doing everyone a disservice by hiding. I mean, mic drop right there, sparkles, everything. It's incredible. It's so true, because I think with established businesses, a lot of times they forget who they're talking to. And then, like you said, they're creating that safe haven. They're creating the space for people to connect and see them, really see them for who they are and what they stand for. But I think for new businesses, a lot of times they're so hesitant, right? They're
Yeah.
so hesitant. Like creating that website is like that commitment. It's like we went from dating to marriage. Like now I exist. Now it's official. Now I am like in public and they're looking at me and criticizing me and scrutinizing me. So, but it's so true what you said. Like it gives you so much opportunity to see, is there a need? Is there
Yeah.
traffic? Are people reaching out? Maybe they're not converting yet. Maybe they're not buying, but they're asking questions, right? They're making comments. They're looking to see what you're all about. So it's so, so true. I mean, everything you said, I was like, oh God, this is like a manual right here. It's like business 101 or entrepreneurship 101. So,
Yeah.
what do you think are some of the biggest struggles that you maybe have seen or see that startups are experiencing with website and web design in general?
Some of the struggles that I've seen startups with web design or putting themselves out there is just taking the initial step to go through the learning curve. You know, self-sabotage manifests its ways in so many dimensions. And this is something that I've learned, and I've learned how to overcome it. And essentially, when you're challenged by website, just pick one platform. It doesn't matter really what it is, because you're still getting yourself in the habit of doing and being consistent with the habit. So think of it as the initial step towards committing towards yourself to be consistent with the behaviors that you're still learning.
Mm.
And this is something that I had to learn the hard way, and I would leave it and come back to it, leave it and come back to it. So that would be really the one thing that I would highly advise startups is take the initial step, pick one platform. Don't be lost with the different platforms and different ways that you can build a site, because again, there's a base and there's a foundation that you're building that is far more important in your self development than really, is this perfect, is this photo nice, is this color matching. All of that will come with time once you put it out there and perfect your messaging and perfect exactly the solution you want to present to your end consumer. The other thing is, as far as what is it, as far as, you know, be data driven. This is another perspective that I would like to draw people towards is, when you're building your website, you want to move away from constantly being on top of yourself, judging what you've put out there, and focus more on, is there traffic coming to the site when you've placed your Google Analytics on the back end?
Mm-hmm,
You know,
mm-hmm.
be more data driven. That way you base your judgment and your thought process on something solid, not just, you know, hypothetical.
Yeah. No, it's so, so true. I mean, data. Yeah. But I mean, I want to say something and I want to get your opinion on that and also kind of see if that's a service you offer. I know a lot of people are scared, right? So a lot of people maybe a semi-profession, like you said, they will kind of go and slap their own website together because they are scared to talk to a professional, work with a professional. Maybe it's a funding issue, whatever it is. So
Hmm.
if they at least go and do semi okay job with kind of throwing their website together, when it comes to data, I feel people, that's where they go like, whoa, like I don't even know what it is. Like, how does this thing work? So,
Yeah.
couple questions. One is obviously you said it's super important, and
Hmm.
two is, and you kind of explained why is it important. But is that the service you offer, and how hard is it really to manage it?
It is something definitely that I incorporate with the services that I offer when I'm doing web design or web development, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
startup or an established business, because it's really important to look at the back end and see, you know, the demographic, where your customers coming from, how often are they visiting your site, you know. Um, all of that information later down the road, if let's say you want to run a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad, all of that information translates over to creating that. You can
Mm-hmm.
bring in more customers to your website. So there's definitely a lot of resources out there, but then you can also have me come in and help you on how to do it as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I love it. No, it's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, because I feel like it's so important, and yet so many people completely like shy away from those numbers and don't even like pay attention to them, which is such a huge piece of missing information when you are working on the sales funnel or, creating your traffic, sales traffic and things like that. Very true. So, what is your favorite? It's funny, like I just had this conversation actually with someone, and it's kind of like the chicken and the egg question. What do you think is more important, the aesthetics or the message?
In the beginning, I would say the message. And here's why. Your message, once you nail it down,
Mm-hmm.
the aesthetics will come.
Mm.
And these days, with how simple it is to have a website built, or if you want to hire me to build it, there's so many tools at your disposal where you can put the aesthetics together to look like 80% semi-legit online. But the messaging, that's the work. If
Mm.
I don't know what your offering is or who you are or what you do, you've lost me.
Mm-hmm.
You can
Mm-hmm.
have the prettiest design, but if your design is not consistent with your messaging, I don't know why I'm even, there's nobody, it's just they'll land on it and that's it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not, we don't want that.
Hmm. No, it's awesome. That's very true. I love it. I love it. The semi legit. I love it. Hey, better done than perfect, right? My
Yeah.
favorite line always works out. But I agree with you. I think messaging is so important, and a lot of companies are so struggling with the messaging, especially at the beginning, right? It's that startup syndrome. I want to serve everybody. I don't want to, God forbid, let anybody go from my website. So we try to serve everybody. We just throw all kinds of messaging in there, and nobody knows who you're serving or what your offer is. I love it. So, what would you say, just as an advice? And I mean, I obviously don't want for you to give away all your secret sauce tools, because that's what you do for a living. But if you were to suggest them one or two must-haves on their website, what would they be?
The must have would be
Or like a nifty tricks that you think would are cool, something like that. Maybe one of each.
one of each. Okay. So the top two things on your website, you want to make sure that you section off your information where it flows. So when you have a home page, you can have a one-page landing page. But the one piece of advice is think of your website as scrapbooking. This is the easiest
Mm.
way I describe it to people, and it really clicks for them because we all relate with scrapbooking. We used to at one point print out our photos and have our different sections, and each color, and pattern kind of flows onto the next page. So when you're building out your landing page, start off even on a white piece of paper, 8.5 by 11, fold it into 4 pieces, and then see this is going to be the intro. This is what I'm going to message it on. The second piece needs to have 3 different boxes with a simple message on it and a call to action. The
Mhm.
fourth piece needs to have a testimonial, something that will validate and legitimize your business and that what you offer really solves a solution and people have experienced it well.
Mhm.
So that
Mhm.
would be one advice is think of the layout and think of it as a scrapbook and focus on the messaging and the information. I think the second piece would be a video interacting with people in real time. That way, video is so powerful. It brings out your personality,
Mhm.
it brings out who you are, it challenges you not to hide.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, and all of these things are human connections because we've kind of lost that in society and
Mhm.
we're kind of trying to recreate that in a virtual space.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid of that. It's no different than visiting your neighbor. Think of creating a videos like visiting everybody, but on a global level, so the impact is larger.
Mhm. Mhm.
So those would be the two pieces that I would highly recommend or advise on a website.
I love it. No, I mean, you guys, this is just ladies. This is like a few thousand worth of advice right here, especially with the website. I love the scrapbooking connection. Now it's literally going to be forever in my head. Now I'm literally forever going to see my web pages as scrapbook. That is so good. So good. And I mean, it's so true. It's just we don't realize that
Yeah,
it's a personal global message, essentially. Like you said,
exactly.
it's your neighbor, but it's on a global scale, so everybody has access to it. And you want to transform yourself. And I love that you mentioned video, and I know you do extraordinary. I mean, I'm telling you, everybody on this podcast, you like need to go and find her YouTube videos and watch them. They're extraordinary. I mean, like one of my top favorites, absolutely. Just because Amina is so personal. Everything she just told you, she's so personable. She relates. She connects to you as if you're sitting next to her and having tea in her place. So it's very, very attractive. So I love your videos. Obviously, I've said that to you before. Your organic engagement is out of this world. What do you think makes your videos so enticing? Since you brought it up and, for their websites, but not any video is good. So what, in your opinion, and you've done it and you've proved the concept so many times, what makes a video enticing and exciting?
What makes it enticing and exciting is so simple. It's think about you having coffee with someone you are super comfortable with. That's it. People are so hungry to feel a sense of community and to bond with others.
Mm-hmm.
And because in a physical realm that we live in, we have become so distracted and so consumed by our priorities, we've created a virtual space where we're able to create that connection.
Yeah.
So part of it really is with practice, of course. When you turn on the camera, you will at some point find your voice, speak your truth without judgment or analyzing yourself or criticizing yourself. And really, you want to think about it is, how am I going to, what's the one thing that I'm going to say on the video, and what's my why, and how can I circle that back to my branding or me positioning myself as an expert.
Mm-hmm.
So like with my startup business, for 5 years or 6 years, I was talking to Muslim moms, I was creating content for them. So I would always start with something that they had a problem with and making sure that I give them a different perspective and just turn on the camera and just have a conversation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Really don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Um,
I love it.
yeah, I think we overthink it, and we think that we're overthinking it, and I used to struggle with that a lot. It took me quite some time to overcome, not to overthink things, and to know when I need to overthink things.
Yeah. Yes. So
So
true. It's so, so true. I love it. And yeah, I mean, that message, like you said, that point you want to carry across, and getting comfortable in that very intimate conversation. It just happens to happen on video, but the coming across is so intimate and so relevant is what's such a big driver. I love that so much. Yeah, absolutely. And that's honestly why I love how you do it, because every time you do it, it's fun, it's upbeat, but it also carries such great message in such a simple, relevant way. So it's true. So what made you get into really a startup education? I mean, you do a lot of tech advice, you do extraordinary resources that you post. I mean, anybody, even I would say an established business should be following you for that reason, because you're so great with sharing resources and data and all the things we don't want to deal with. So everybody needs Amena in their life. But what made you do that? I mean, what I guess what excites you to be going on the lookout for the next resource or the next best piece?
So this is what really excites me, is this is something, the reason why I'm excited about helping startups with sharing resources is I've gone through the journey where I understand the bigger picture. So a lot of times when you have a coach or when you start your startup business, you're doing without seeing the full picture. So there's missing pieces on how to connect the dots and understand the relevance of what you're doing. So because I've come full circle and I've understood and I was able to make the connections, that's where I can add the most value for startups.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, when I do this and apply that, how is this going to help me and why and where am I headed? And those pieces are really hard to connect. And when I first started and started my, took, 2 startup classes at Seats, but I took it twice, the same class. And, had you as a business mentor and had other mentors that came along my side. It was essentially the next right move for me when I was in the startup business. But I never really understood till I decided to stop doing it last year in December. And then I was able to really reflect back and look at, oh, light bulb.
Yeah.
I get it. So this is what excites me the most when I'm sharing content and resources is, helping entrepreneurs, startups, or even established businesses to connect the dots and for them to ultimately make better decisions for their business and in their personal lives.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. It's so good. It's so, so true. I mean, yeah, I used to make the same joke. I used to say, it's like wanting to have a Ferrari and having no idea what it looks like. Because somebody gives you a door from a Ferrari, somebody gives you a back wheel, somebody gives you a front headlight, and you're like, okay, but what about the car? So yeah, it's so I love that you brought it up. It's such a good analogy. I Everything you said. I mean, ladies, like I said, you're getting few $1,000s worth of training, and if you follow her resources, that's extraordinary. Just so so good. So I mean, I'm sure there are other girls, other boss babes who are listening, other women who are listening out there, and they're like, "Gosh, she sounds awesome. I want to be just like her." So if there is a boss babe out there who wants to do that, who wants to be a startup expert, and she wants to get into, web design and kind of be you, what would be your one advice that you would give her?
The one advice would be in order to be a startup expert, you have to take the initiative within yourself to start up so you can move up and excel. That's really what it is.
Mhm.
So, the reason why I was able to come to where I am now and arrive in the person that I am now is because I followed my intuition despite the noise. And I was able to reach out to anyone, go to events. I went to Galvanize so many times and was in the audience, and there will come a point where you will ask yourself, why am I always taking a back seat? But it's not about that. It's as long as you're continuously doing, you will arrive and find your true messaging on where you're able to add value to others. So the number one advice is in order to start up, you got to start up with yourself in
Mhm.
order to move forward and excel. So always expose yourself to different environments. Don't be afraid to email people and reach out to anyone, even if they have a million followers. It doesn't matter
Mhm.
because one thing I've learned is people are so receptive, so helpful, and we were created to give back, really. So leave all judgments, do yourself a favor, set aside all your thoughts, and just start up with yourself.
I love it. I mean, you got to start up within yourself. I mean,
Yeah,
boom, this is literally a t-shirt line right here. I'm
yeah,
totally still in that line and I'm giving you credit. It's so, I mean, gosh, everything she just said, Amina, I love it. It is so so true. I mean, if you got anything out of this episode, this last few minutes were just incredible fire. It starts with you, and if you have to start, you keep doing. I mean, I love it, what you also said, by continuously doing, you will arrive. It is
yeah.
100% the case. It's mathematically and logically impossible not to. So yes, absolutely, so true. I mean, I'm so grateful that you are so generous and you just listen, you just shared with our listeners so many pro tips, like I said, thousands of dollars worth of knowledge, and you're always so extraordinary with sharing your resources, the best of the best. So I'm very very grateful that you are in the tribe, that other women get to learn from you, and that you're giving back so much. And thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for
You're
being with us
welcome.
today.
Thank you. And you have an awesome day, Olinka.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to I Start First podcast. If you loved it as much as I did, feel free to tag us on Instagram at IStartFirst_. Share it with your besties, and if you feel so compelled, give us that 5-star review on iTunes. Till next time, and like always, kick ass and sparkle up.